Riverdale is an upper-middle-class residential neighborhood in the northwest portion of the Bronx, a borough in New York City. Riverdale, which has a population of 47,850 as of the 2000 United States Census, contains the northernmost point in New York City. History: in 1642, Anthony Van Corlear died while attempting to swim across the Hudson from nearby Attribution. A witness to Van Corlear's death stated that the devil in the shape of a giant fish swam up and proceeded to seize the sturdy Anthony by the leg and drag him beneath the waves. This may be the earliest recorded shark attack in the New World. In the late 17th century, Frederick Phillips, the Lord of Phillips Manor in Westchester County, received permission to construct a bridge across Spuyten Creek and charge tolls. King's Bridge, which was located roughly south of and parallel to where West 230th Street lies today, opened in 1693. Early in its residential development, Riverdale was a 19th-century estate district where many of Manhattan's moguls built their country estates. For example, in northern Riverdale, what is now Fieldston was part of the estate of Major Joseph Delafield, who purchased 250 acres in 1829, and named it after his family's estate in England. At the turn of the century, the new popularity of railroad commute enabled wealthy businessmen to make Riverdale their year-round residence. Fieldston, owned by a private association, is a particularly intact example of a turn-of-the-century upper-class suburb. The Hudson Hill neighborhood retains many of its historic mansions. Riverdale's elite private schools and historic churches also reflect this past. Development of the neighborhood began in the latter half of the 19th century once the New York Central and Hudson River Railroad came through. The tracks originally crossed Spuyten Creek and into Manhattan on the west side, but Cornelius Vanderbilt wanted to consolidate his railroad operations into one terminal, so he had tracks laid along the north side of the Harlem River so that trains coming south from Albany could join with the Harlem and New Haven lines and come into Manhattan down 4th Avenue into his new Grand Central Depot. This is the route still used by Metro-North today. The Delafield family laid out lots in Fieldston in 1909 the year after the IRT Broadway 7th Avenue line was extended to Van Cortlandt Park 242nd Street, intending to develop the land, which at first was called Delafield Woods. Rather than use a grid plan, civil engineer Albert E. Wheeler, following the suggestions made by Frederick Law Olmsted and James Uckrose in 1876, designed a street plan which followed the contours of the land and preserved as much of the wooded areas as possible. The first house was begun in 1910 and finished in 1911. By the beginning of the 21st century, Fieldston, a gated community, was one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in New York City. Leland Weintraub, the commissioner who moved for the district's creation, noted that most of the features commonly associated with the American Romantic suburb of the mid-19th century, including a picturesque site, landscaping and architecture. Connection to the city by accessible transportation and a layout adapted to the topography are present in the area. As the 20th century progressed, upscale apartment buildings and smaller houses were added to the neighborhood. To this day, Riverdale continues to maintain its character as an affluent enclave in the city of New York. The rich history of Riverdale has led to the creation of the Riverdale Historic District. In May 2009, the FBI ran a sting operation to prevent a bombing plot in which 2 Riverdale synagogues were the suggested targets. This followed the 1989 firebombing of the Riverdale Press. On July 26, 2010, the National Weather Service confirmed that an EF1 tornado had hit Riverdale the day before. There were no fatalities, but 7 people were injured. On December 1, 2013, a train derailment near Spuyten station resulted in 4 deaths and over 70 injuries, of which 11 were critical. Geography: Riverdale covers about 3 square miles in area. It has one of the highest elevations in New York City, affording it views of the Empire State Building, George Washington Bridge, Hudson River and New Jersey Palisades. It is also noted for the numerous parks and expanses of greenery and original forest that complement its hilly landscape. The neighborhood is bordered on the north by the city of Yonkers in Westchester County, and on the west by the Hudson River, but its eastern and southern boundaries are frequently disputed. The AIA Guide to New York City gives Broadway as the eastern boundary, and the Harlem River as the southern. There are several long-debated subsections of Riverdale. Central Riverdale, Fieldston, Hudson Hill, North Riverdale, Spuyten/South Riverdale, Villanova Heights. The leafy, scenic enclave of Fieldston was designated a historic district by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission in 2006. There is also a 15-acre Riverdale Historic District in the northwest of the neighborhood, designated in 1990. Riverdale zip codes are 10,463 and 10,471. While 10,471 is entirely in Riverdale, 10,463 also covers the adjacent neighborhoods of Kingsbridge and Marble Hill. Administratively, Riverdale is part of Bronx Community Board 8. Media, 2 weekly newspapers, the Riverdale Press and the Riverdale Review, focus on news of interest to residents of the neighborhood. Demographics: as of the 2000 census, there were 47,850 people residing in Riverdale. The population density was 19,997 per square mile. The racial makeup of the neighborhood was 78.74% white, 5.36% Asian, 0.05% Pacific Islander, 7.66% Black, 0.16% Native American, 4.85% from other races, and 3.18% from 2 or more races. Of those, 13.38% of the population were Hispanic of any race. Fully 24.15% of the population was foreign-born. Of this, 51.76% came from Europe, 22.92% from Latin America, 21.71% from Asia and 3.61% from other parts of the world. Riverdale is well known for its substantial Jewish, Irish and Russian-speaking populations. With a median residence value of $579,196, Riverdale is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in New York City and is considered one of the most sought-after residential neighborhoods. Riverdale is known for having some of the lowest crime rates in New York City. Housing equals, Riverdale is home to the modernist landmark Saul Victor House, designed by Ferdinand Gottlieb in 1967. Other famous mansions in the Hudson Hill neighborhood include Grayston, Alderbrook, Stonehurst and Oak Lawn. Since 2005, Central Riverdale has experienced a building boom with the addition of many mid- and high-rise condominium buildings. Before the wider development of Riverdale, housing consisted of large, architecturally distinguished mansions built in the early 20th century, mostly in Georgian and Tudor Revival styles, which recall scenes of rural Connecticut rather than the city. These are mostly concentrated in the Fieldston section of Riverdale, known as the Estate area. In addition, more affordable pre-war buildings and smaller houses are scattered throughout Riverdale. The 1950s saw the construction of many low-rise brick buildings. By the early to mid-1960s, a number of larger brick towers started popping up. Many of these full-service buildings featuring doormen were designed by architect Philip Baum, who designed over 300 buildings in the city, including Skyview, the Windsors, and the Whitehall. In 1974, a large, fortress-like residential compound and school was established in North Riverdale by the permanent mission of the USSR to the United Nations to house diplomats and their families. The 20-story building was constructed from the top down, with the upper floors built first. By the 1980s, most of the apartment buildings that were owned by single landlords and rented, were converted into cooperatives. Unlike most of the Bronx, Riverdale is mostly owner-occupied housing. Spuyten has the greatest concentration of high-rises in Riverdale with the Century, 555 Capac, and Winston Churchill next to one another. Since 2005, Central Riverdale has experienced a building boom with the addition of many mid- and high-rise condominium buildings that contrast with the older brick style. In August 2008, Columbia University purchased an almost completed apartment building by Henry Hudson Parkway for use as faculty housing. Government service. Education equals, the public schools are a part of the New York City Department of Education. The public elementary schools are the SPUITE Edgewood School and the Robert J. Crisson School. The public middle school and high school is MS/HS 141, the Riverdale Kingsbridge Academy. Nearby high schools that also serve the community include the Bronx High School of Science and John F. Kennedy High School. Riverdale is home to 3 top-tier private schools, Horace Mann, Riverdale Country, and Fieldston, all members of the Ivy Preparatory School League. And 2 Roman Catholic colleges, the College of Mount St. Vincent and Manhattan College. The Academy for Jewish Religion is one of 2 similarly named trans-denominational rabbinical schools, the other located in Los Angeles, California. An increase in the Jewish population of the neighborhood in the late 20th century led to Riverdale now being home to top-ranked Jewish day schools, the SAR Academy, an elementary school, and the SAR High School, as well as the Yeshiva of Tel Shul alumni and Yeshivat Shovavei Torah Rabbinical School. Catholic elementary schools in the area are St. Gabriel's School and St. Margaret of Courtenay School, where President John F. Kennedy received his first communion. The area also has several preschools. Kinneret Day School is a private Jewish day school in SPUITE Edgewood, serving grades K through 8 in addition to preschool. Others are Bedrock Preschool, the Riverdale Temple Nursery School, SPUITE Edgewood Preschool, SAR Academy, Riverdale Nursery School and Family Center, the Riverdale Presbyterian Church Nursery School, and Riverdale Montessori School. The Russian Mission School in New York is located in Riverdale, on the grounds of the Russian Mission Residency. Fire department equals, Riverdale's local FDNY fire station is Engine 52/Ladder 52, located at 4550 Henry Hudson Parkway East in central Riverdale. Engine 52/Ladder 52 is the only firehouse in Riverdale and the northernmost fire station operated by the FDNY. Engine Company 52 currently operates a 2003 Seagrave Commander 2 Custom 1000/500 pumper engine, and Ladder Company 52 currently operates a 2006 Seagrave Commander 2 Custom 100 feet rear mount aerial ladder truck. Transportation. The Van Cortlandt Park a Euro 242nd Street subway station of the IRT Broadway a Euro 7th Avenue line of the New York City subway is located at the intersection of 242nd Street and Broadway, along with the 238th Street and 231st Street stations provide subway service to and from Manhattan. Riverdale is also accessible from Kingsbridge, Inwood, and Washington Heights by the BX3, BX7, BX9, BX10, BX20 bus lines that run throughout the Riverdale area. Metro-North commuter railroad service is available at 2 stations, both on the Hudson Line, the SPUITE Edgewood station, located underneath the Henry Hudson Parkway and alongside the shore of the Harlem River at Edsall Avenue. And at the Riverdale station, located between West 254th Street and West 255th Street. By car, Riverdale is commonly reached by the Henry Hudson Parkway via the Henry Hudson Bridge, and by Broadway via the Broadway Bridge. Bus service to Riverdale includes the New York City Bus BX1, BX3, BX7, BX9, BX10, BX20, BXM1, BXM2, BXM3, BXM18 routes, as well as the B-Line bus system routes 1, 2, 3, and 8. Points of interest. Parks Wave Hill, a combination botanical garden and outdoor art gallery, is located in the so-called Hudson Hill overlooking the Hudson River. Gaelic Park, the headquarters of the New York GAA, is where Gaelic football and hurling are played in the New York metropolitan area. It is located at West 240th Street. Bell Tower Park next to the Henry Hudson Parkway has the Riverdale Monument, a stone wall memorial built in 1930. Churches and synagogues community organizations Bronx Community Board 8. A group of community members working under the mandate of the city charter to monitor the delivery of city services, establish budget priorities, and influence land use decisions. Riverdale Hatsala Volunteer Ambulance Corporation. A local volunteer EMS corporation, supported by community donations, that offers fast, reliable medical treatment and transport free of charge. Riverdale YMUH. A community center for youth, adult and senior activities. Riverdale Children's Theatre. A local children's theatre company that has performed many pilot productions of musicals. Museums. Daphne Judaica Museum maintains a collection of approximately 1,400 objects used in traditional Jewish ceremonies and rituals, as well as Jewish art. Wave Hill, former residence of Mark Twain amongst others, is a botanical garden featuring 2 preserved historic mansions. It has exhibit spaces with a rotating series of art exhibitions, and performance spaces with a noted series of concerts. Notable people. In popular culture, Riverdale has often been cited in literature, film and television. Exteriors of many of Riverdale's locations have been used in both television and movie production. Gallery. See also, New York City Portal. References, Notes. Further reading, Vandam, Jeff. Riverdale, Changing Skyline Beckons Buyers. The New York Times. External links, Riverdale Neighborhood House, Riverdale YMUH.